Hey everybody, Storm Talk today on this Wednesday, and we get right into it. We got a lot of things to cover here. Julia, I won't mention that. Everybody, I think, has discovered all the excitement there with Julia, the tropical storm up the southeast corner of the country. Here's our fronts moving in from the south. There is moisture pulling up ahead of that later on this afternoon. We'll look at Futurecast in a moment. There is a bit of moisture, too, drifting into southern Kentucky, and then Louisville and E-Town and Bardstown, a lot of us in between the two, so we'll be quiet for a while until we get things popping on the radar. Futurecast really doesn't get things going until late this afternoon, toward the afternoon rush. In fact, a few spotty downpours, so therefore we have a good chance to hit very close to that 90, if not right at 90 degrees today. And then they'll fade out slowly. I think it may take a little while to get some of these downpours to fade out, but they will. And then for the overnight, mainly quiet. Can't run an isolated downpour. We'll keep it dry for now. Thursday, even though the front technically is moving through the next 12 to 24 hours, I still see enough moisture around, especially if there's any fog in the morning, wherever the fog and the sun line is, right on the boundary. We call that differential heating. There could very well be some pop-up showers or downpours, so I'm going to keep about a 10% chance in for Thursday. Most of us will stay dry. Very little, if any, change in temperature, though, just a few degrees off from where we are today. And then Friday, you'll notice the rain moves north. It's because the wind arrows begin to change here. Warm front begins to take over, and that leads us into the weekend. So here's the warm front moving in. I do think if we have any rain Friday, it looks to hold off until Friday night. So I think touchdown Friday night will be fine. Small rain chance. It does go up, though, after midnight. This rain band will move through just in time for tailgaters for the Cards, if this holds true. Notice there's not much development on the south end of that. It's mainly in the north end. So, I mean, it's not a solid band of rain coming at us Saturday morning, but there will be some showers passing through, maybe a pocket or two of moderate rain. So prepare for that if you're going to be tailgating or you have any plans outside Saturday morning, and hope that you fit in a gap where you have to worry about it, but prepare for it just in case. I think we'll see it ease for a bit, and then we'll start to see some more activity begin to fire up in the afternoon. I don't see any one area that is going to be more organized with the downpours than others. What will change that is if we get any sunlight to get through these clouds, then we will be able to focus in on where thunderstorms will likely begin to pop and where that will likely move to next. That's a situation we're not going to know until the day of. So, looking at model data in advance, the best way we can tell you is prepare for rain, not a washout, periods of rain and showers for either Lexington or Louisville. Keep that in mind. Here's the thing on the front. It's so slow and to crawl through the area. We're going to keep the rain chance in Saturday night. In fact, may see some pockets of heavy rain in some spots while you're trying to sleep Saturday night and Sunday morning. Good sleeping weather Sunday morning. And then maybe another downpour or two on Sunday afternoon. So the weekend overall is going to feature a rain chance for both days. Looking at now the more nerdy stuff when it comes to the parameters I just pointed out. The reason why we're going mainly dry Friday, only a slight chance for a downpour Friday afternoon, is there's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, aloft anyway, as we head into Friday. So anything that develops very, very isolated on Friday. But Friday night, after midnight, we begin to see the upper layers of the atmosphere begin to moisten up. So we begin to see the potential for some downpours to approach from the west, and that trend continues into Saturday afternoon, in fact. Still a fairly humid atmosphere. In fact, when we look at our moisture content, we're in that purple area. Now, we're not in the pink area to the south, which is good because that's a really deep tropical heavy rain area. We're in the purple, which still tells me, though, it's a humid atmosphere, so it doesn't take much at all to get a downpour to develop. You can probably sneeze outside and be enough of a wind field, probably create one. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but you get the point. So that's why if we get any sun, it won't take much to get a thunderstorm to actually develop. In fact, here's the future radar on the NAM model for Saturday morning, very similar to the RPM I just showed you, showing the potential for a downpour early on, and then as we get into the afternoon hours on Saturday, you'll see that the activity becomes very sparse or scattered. And we'll just have to wait and see if we can get any redevelopment of some thunderstorms in this area if we get any sunlight, because the NAM model especially is detecting, this is what we call the lifted index. Anywhere you see the warmer colors, yellows and on all the way up to the magenta color here, this is where the atmosphere can begin to support lightning strikes. So if there are any thunderstorms and lightning and so forth, it looks to be mainly a central southern Kentucky issue on Saturday. But we could have some thunderstorms if we get some sunlight to break through the clouds, and that's still kind of a big if. I wish I had a better answer on all this, but that's the way it's looking for now. All right, so I mentioned Sunday as well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get into next week. Again, here's GFS, here is the Euro, and here is the Canadian. Here are the ensembles of those models. This is for the end of this weekend. Here's the ridge holding tough in the southeast corner of the country. The same ridge that's protecting us now and has been most of this week, that's going to move more to the southeast and allow this front to influence our weather for the weekend. Good agreement on all the models on this. But then we get to next week. Next Wednesday, Thursday. I saw this when I got in. I thought, oh boy, I hope this doesn't trend anywhere. Look at the GFS. This is the operational GFS. This is a pretty sharp trough. I mean, this would be highs in the 60s, lows at night in the 40s here in wave country. Then you look at the Euro. That pink area, that's basically about 90 degrees. So, completely two different ideas on how next week will go. But when you look at the ensembles, this is why ensembles are important, you do see more of a ridge instead of a trough in our area, especially on the Euro, and somewhat on the Canadian. But you do not see a deep trough in our area. They center the trough a little more toward the plains. You're a little further west, mind you. But right now we're leaning toward the ensemble idea on all of these, which is a warming forecast for next week, and perhaps 90. Can't discount the Euro entirely. But I don't, at this point, see any support to buy into the Chile GFS. The good thing about the GFS, though, and there are some good things about GFS, and there's a lot of model haters out there, but GFS usually can sniff out these troughs like this, these deep, cold snaps, cool snaps, what have you. But it's too aggressive. It sniffs them out, and it's about 7 days too early. But it wasn't necessarily wrong on the direction and the impact that it shows. It's just never right on the timing. So I think it's significant to see that, because even as we toward the later portion of the month, the GFS is showing it still there. I mean, to an extent, it's still showing a deep trough in our area. But even the ensembles at that point now start to line up with a trough centered more over the Ohio Valley, although the Canadian a little more west. But they do buy into a cooler than normal pattern for the end of the month. So the GFS may be just giving us a hint of what's coming a week after next. But next week, probably not. All right, so that's it for now, guys. Kevin and Ryan will keep you updated on how the rain chance is going to go for this weekend. I only got a lot of questions on that, and we are monitoring, all right? So keep that Wave 3 News weather app handy. It'll be your best friend. Christy will also have an update on today's rain chance coming out today on midday. Catch you then.